Following this meal plan for the week, this is day 2, meal 1. Today's breakfast is chia pudding, which I've never tried. Always thought the consistency seemed not so great. It's supposed to have blueberries. I went with blackberries because I just couldn't find them. And then there's some almonds in here. You know what, though? If I can get past the consistency, I did like the taste of this. When I like mixed it up last night and then tasted the spoon afterwards, it tasted good. So let's try. Oh, that is surprisingly pleasant, actually. The texture is not as offensive as I thought. It's definitely giving tapioca pudding. Not exactly, but like that's what's coming to mind. Oh, I'm actually really surprised at this. First thoughts though is like, this doesn't seem like a breakfast food to me. This seems like a dessert food. Oh, with the fruit is so good. I'm not much of a sweets for breakfast kind of person. I like to start with a savory breakfast usually. And save my sweets for dessert. The crunchy walnuts. This is actually really, really good. I could see myself adding this into the rotation after this little meal plan's done. This is quite good. Again, as a dessert though, this is 100% giving tapioca pudding and not any kind of breakfast food I would have. I know later in the week we have like some breakfast burritos and some other savory type breakfasts. So I'm kind of waiting for those. I'm surprised that I like the texture of this though. The chia seeds are getting stuck in my teeth a little bit, which is not ideal, but this is pretty darn good. I have got to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to be doing today, and I will see you back here for lunch. I'm following this meal plan for the week. This is day 2, meal 2. This was supposed to be tofu and salad, but apparently I was supposed to prepare the tofu ahead of time. I haven't done that, so we're gonna just switch dinner and lunch. Let's make some pasta. I'm gonna start by just cooking some mushrooms down in a little touch of oil, and then coat them in flour once they're cooked down. Next we need veg broth, but instead of the white wine that you're supposed to add with this, I'm adding just a tiny splash of apple cider vinegar. I'm also adding in a little squirt of Dijon mustard. I'm also adding 2 heaping spoonfuls of sour cream. I've never tried the Violife sour cream, but I like their cheeses, so I think this is gonna be good. Salt and pepper to taste, and I added my pasta. That looks good. Let's plate it. It called for a topping of parsley, but all I've got is cilantro. Yes, I know those two are very incredibly different. I don't care. Close enough. This looks so good. It does smell quite heavily of the sour cream. Ooh, I gotta give this a try. This is gonna be really good. I already know it. Like, how could it not be, you know? Parsley would be a lot better than cilantro, but that is in fact what it called for. It's fine. Dude, this is super good. My friend remarked yesterday that my dinner was like so fancy compared to what I usually eat. And I can't stop thinking, it's like, yeah, these are like really easy to put together meals, but they just seem so much fancier. Like, that's the reason that I eat the way that I eat, is because it's quick and easy. This is quick and easy too, but it's varied and delicious. And higher protein. This might be even better than yesterday's dinner, actually. I really like pasta. Very, very much. Particularly like a thick, creamy pasta. This is really good. I'm gonna go sit down and enjoy this. See you at dinner. I'm following this high protein vegan meal plan for the week. This is day 2, meal 3. I'm eating what was supposed to be lunch. I did not meal prep this in advance like I was supposed to, so now it became dinner, and I had what was supposed to be dinner for lunch. I'm also gonna make 4 servings of this because this is lunch for the next 4 days. Here's a full block of extra firm tofu marinating. Anytime a recipe calls for vegan Worcestershire, I just swap it out with A1 because I don't know where to find that stuff. So this is A1, lemon juice, garlic, salt, pepper, onion. This recipe only calls for kale, so there's a bunch of kale in there. The meal plan, however, called for mixed greens, broccoli sauce, cilantro, and basil. And in order to use those up before they go bad, we're just gonna kind of supplement the kale with all of the other ingredients. I had to switch to my giant bowl. This is 4 salads though. I'm also gonna add pumpkin seeds and nutritional yeast. And that's the salad portion prepped. It'll go in the fridge like that. And then whenever I'm ready to eat it, I'll add my dressing, avocado, and the tofu. We're back on the topic of tofu. I've drained most of the marinade out of this, added a little bit of oil, and I'm going to fry it up. I probably should have done it in batches, too lazy. And that's the tofu prepped. I didn't bother to cook this until it was crisp because it's going to be stored in the fridge for the next few days. So each time I take out my portion, I'll just throw it in the air fryer when I'm going to eat the meal. These diet dressings are always so incredibly thick, so I had to thin mine out quite a bit. I just add some water. Got some avocado toast with beans, some unsweetened peach tea. This meal is going to be good. Lastly for today, I've got a plate of some salt and pepper cucumbers as well as some salted and steamed edamame. That's it for today. I'll see you back here tomorrow. I'm following this high protein vegan meal plan for the week. It's day 3, meal 1. I'm making breakfast burritos. So I've got half a block of extra firm tofu cooking over high heat in a little bit of vegetable oil. I'm making 3 of these so I can have a couple for the other days. Half cup of corn and 1 cup of black beans. And a 1/4 cup of salsa and 2 green onions. And towards the end of cooking, I'm going to add a bunch of cilantro. Wait, I almost forgot spices. There's garlic, onion, turmeric, and chili. Added just a touch of water to incorporate those spices, and we're looking really good. So this is meal prepped for the next couple of days. So this is today's breakfast and snack mixed together. Tortilla, filling, and I'll see you at lunch. I'm following this high protein vegan meal plan for the week. This is day 3, meal 2. Let's have some lunch together. I've got a salad that I meal prepped yesterday with some tofu and a toast on the side. Same salad from yesterday. This is quite good. All the kale is like a little bit much to chew. Not my favorite, but actually it kind of works out that I ended up adding all those extra other things. If you want more details on that, it's in yesterday's video. Along with this salad goes a little toast on the side that it's topped with some beans. So I've got half a cup of white beans. I've added some garlic salt and chili powder, and I kind of mash those up. I've toasted a piece of sourdough, avocado and those beans, lemon juice, and sriracha. That's lunch for today, especially with the toast. It's an overall good meal. See you back here for dinner. I'm making something different. I'm following this high protein vegan meal plan for the week. This is day 4, meal 1. I've got the same, I can't even really show you because I made it too watery this time, but I've got the same chia pudding from the other day. I actually found blueberries this time. I like the blackberries a lot better, actually. And then I've got some almonds, but also some walnuts in here, just because the meal plan had me buy a whole big bag of walnuts, and I need to use them up. I actually like this a lot better with like a more runny consistency. I'm kind of in a rush to get through breakfast here. Today's a busy day. It's a busy week, really. I've got stuff every day, every second of every day this week. I've been up really early already doing a bunch of stuff. I'll talk more about that later, but now I've got to get on to there's a bunch of training modules and things I need to finish up before I start my first shift at the new job that I got. Because it's remote, meaning like I go to different locations every time and on my own without any sort of boss or leadership there. There's a ton of just training and discussions and like making sure even the dumbest of us know how to do this before they send us out on our own to do it. The job's with a company called Social Sampling, so if you've ever seen those people at the grocery store that have a little booth set up that are trying to promote a particular product or whatever to encourage you to buy it, I'm going to be the one trying to get you to buy that shit. While I eat the rest of this, I'm going to go just look over the paperwork and kind of get prepared for what I need to move on to next, and I will see you at lunch. I'm following this high protein vegan meal plan for the week. This is day 4, meal 2. I've got more of the tofu salad and toast that I prepped earlier in the week. Now, I really shouldn't have prepped all that salad so many days in advance because this has already been sitting too long and I've still got another serving for tomorrow. Also, I never posted about dinner last night. That's because I made the meal, filmed everything as normal, and then when I went to edit the clips, they just didn't exist. Couldn't tell you what happened there. Footage is gone. You'll never see it. I made beet burgers, which was basically beet and walnut and kidney beans ground up into a patty. Hated it. Awful. Disgusting. Was not my vibe. Also, the main flavor was like a sweet chili sauce, I think it was, which, like, in the right application can be good, but I do not enjoy that at all, so it's totally fine. And we'll just keep moving. Really, really loved a lot of the recipes from this meal plan, and I will be adopting them into my regular diet after this week, but this one, certainly not. The tofu even it's good meal prep wise, like it's still good to eat, but I just don't particularly love the flavor of this. It's all right. The toast is really doing all the work on this meal. So I was mentioning over breakfast that this week is very busy. Today in particular, I had a ton of work training that I had to get done before I start my new job later this week. But also, I had to get up super early this morning to beat the heat because my family is looking to buy a property, and I had to go check it out because it's a fixer-upper and we wanted to see how much fixing would be needed. I'm really glad I went to take a look at it just to quell my curiosity. It's not looking promising. That's looking like it's going to need a little bit more fixing than what we could do. So we'll see how that plays out. With all of that done, I really need to sit down and have my lunch and then get some editing done. I have a ton of short form content for the last couple of days all piling up. And I'm going to get confused if I don't start getting it edited pretty soon. For dinner, we're introducing a new meal to this meal plan and also something that I've just never tried before. So I'll see you back here for that. I'm following this high protein vegan meal plan for the week. This is day 4, meal 3. Let's make some tacos. But real quick, before we get to tacos, I'll show you the snack plate I'm gonna have mid-afternoon. So I've got some salted edamame. The meal plan only calls for 1 cutie, but 1 cutie? Impossible. 1 chip? Sure, no problem. But only 1 cutie? Impossible. So I'm having 3. And then I'm taking another little liberty here. Again, it only calls for almonds, but I just don't really love almonds that much. And I've got a bunch of walnuts that also need to be eaten up, so half and half on that. First step is to brown some tofu, and I'm going off script already. I'm going to use this taco mix instead of the seasoning mix that the recipe suggests. I'm gonna also need a good sauce to go on here, so I'm using a little more than 1/4 of an avocado, some lime juice, and this is supposed to be mayo according to the recipe, but they already had me open up this, so I'm gonna go ahead and use a scoop of this and save that mayo for next week when I'm gonna make some potato salad. This is good, but I just felt like it needed a little something, so I'm adding a little bit of the taco seasoning to it to make what this recipe is calling avocado crema. Now we're just not even following the recipe anymore. At this point, the recipe was just inspiration. But the meal plan calls for me to open corn and black beans for another meal, and now the leftovers are just sitting, and they would go so well with this that I'm going to throw them in. And to assemble, I'm taking 2 warmed tortillas, sauce it up. I don't have any more lettuce, but I do have this broccoli slaw, lots of cilantro, medium chunky salsa, and of course, that tofu mixture. With all the extra stuff I added, that made for 2 very giant tacos. Let's try it. I do feel like this recipe as is would be super bland, but with the additions that I made, it's pretty good. I'm following this high protein vegan meal plan for the week. This is day 5, meal 2. I'm having the same lunch that I've been having the last couple of days. Sourdough, avocado, white beans, lemon, sriracha. I ditched the salad though. Lesson learned, I will not be meal prepping my salad. I think it was the nooch that really did it. It made it all like slimy and ick. Had to be just completely discarded. I'm gonna get this lunch in the middle of me getting ready to head out for the evening. I did just dye my hair. I'll show you that later. It's still drying. Don't look, don't peek. I'm taking my best friend out for drinks tonight in LA. It was his birthday recently, so we're gonna go celebrate a little bit. Gonna go check some comedy at the Comedy Store. I don't know the names of the specific comedians. I never do. I always just laugh a lot, but these particular comedians tonight he's really wanted to see, so he's like super excited to go. I'm quite excited too. Frankly, he doesn't live near me anymore, so I don't get to see him nearly as often as I would like to. That's why I'm getting ready at lunchtime, because I've got quite a drive before we get to go out tonight. So I'm gonna make this little vid pretty short, and I was gonna say I'll see you at dinner. Actually, I'm not doing dinner video tonight. We're gonna make that meal that's supposed to be for tonight tomorrow, because tonight I'm probably gonna end up like grabbing food out somewhere. So I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm following this high protein vegan meal plan for the week. Right now we're gonna prep some curried sweet potato and peanut soup. I'm gonna start by roasting up some peanuts. Heat is on very low, and I'm just gonna keep moving them around to make sure they don't burn. While those peanuts are roasting, I'm gonna do in a separate pot 1 medium sweet potato peeled and cut into bite-sized pieces, 1 cup of water, and 1 cup of coconut milk. This is a 15-ounce can of white beans. I'm gonna add about 1/3 of it. Now I'm gonna add seasonings. This is onion powder and some garlic powder. Lots of garlic powder. And a little bit of ginger. And red curry paste. So I'm gonna cover and simmer on low until those potatoes are soft. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Let's top with all the garnishes. So I'm taking a little handful of peanuts. I'm gonna do a little handful of pepitas as well. Cilantro and a good squeeze of lime. And that made 2 servings, so I'm gonna eat this one now, and then I'm gonna add the garnishes to this one tomorrow for lunch. I'm following this high protein vegan meal plan for the week. This morning I meal prepped some curried sweet potato and peanut soup. Let me give it a try. It actually looks and smells really good. Let me show you. Sweet potatoes, white beans, in a like coconut lime curry sauce with some cilantro, peanuts, and pepitas. Definitely something I've never tried before. I'm not usually a big fan of sweet potato, but the meal I had earlier in the week that combined coconut milk, lime, and that red curry was really, really good. And this smells very similarly. Wow. Okay. I think this is the first application that I've ever had sweet potatoes in that I actually like. All the other flavors are kind of just muting the sweetness a little bit. I think I could use a bit more lime. I usually go heavy on lime, lemon, whatever kind of topping. Oh my god, this is good. I'm very surprised to say I could actually see myself making this again, especially with the crunchy peanuts and pepitas that are in there. It really makes the texture. It's got some protein from the beans. And like I said, coconut milk. Particularly when it's with curry sauce and lime. Alright. I'm gonna go sit and enjoy this. I'll see you at dinner. I'm following this high protein vegan meal plan for the week. This is day 7, meal 1. This is supposed to be breakfast burritos, the same ones that I showed earlier in the week. However, I'm going out tonight, and breakfast burritos are going to travel a lot better than actual dinner that's made for tonight. So let's make dinner for breakfast. I don't even know what this meal was called. It was something like cauliflower with beans and pesto, I think. This suggested that I buy 2 full cauliflowers and cut a steak out of the middle of each of them. I don't need that much cauliflower in my life, so I just bought one head and I'm using little pieces from it. This is coated in a little bit of olive oil and gonna go in the oven to roast. If this turns out a little bit bland, I won't blame the recipe because I only have the basil. I don't have the parsley or the chives that I'm supposed to add. I'm gonna add like 20 almonds. I'm gonna add a dash of olive oil and a bunch of lemon juice. And then I just food process that. This is about 7 ounces of white beans and I don't know, maybe about a fourth of a cup of water. This steak seasoning has salt, garlic, onion, paprika, and like a bunch of other things. I'm just realizing that everything else in this meal is really quick to cook except for this cauliflower, and I'm not trying to wait 45 minutes for that to roast, so I'm just gonna throw it in here to blanch. Once that cauliflower is softened, I turn off the heat and I'm gonna add just a tiny little splash of red wine vinegar. Okay, I mean, it smells quite good. Then I topped with that almond pesto mixture. And this was meant to be butter beans, not white beans, but I never heard of butter beans. Didn't see them on any store shelf or anything, so just went with white beans. I am very interested to find out how this is going to taste. This is unlike any foods that I usually eat. Let's give it a try. First thoughts are the pesto part is kind of weird. I don't like the texture of the nuts. Probably, again, any criticism of this that I just give right now is on me, myself, and not this recipe. I didn't have most of the ingredients. I didn't follow the instructions. I didn't have the proper food process. Like, I really was very unprepared to make this meal and just kind of made it work. But if you follow the actual recipe, it will probably turn out vastly different than mine. I'm just letting you know how this tastes. Not bad. Like, I think it would be kind of bland without the pesto nuts, but I really don't like the chunky nut texture. Again, that's on me. And that's today's breakfast. I'm gonna move on because I got lots of stuff I want to film today, and then I'm going to see Peach Bears in concert tonight. I'm so excited. See you at lunch. I was following this high protein vegan meal plan for the week. Now that I'm done, let's do a little recap. I'm actually really glad I did that. It introduced me to a lot of new meals and recipes, but like ingredients that not that I haven't tried them, but just refreshed them in my diet. A couple of recipes that I really liked were the creamy pasta, the curry. I'm gonna have that a lot. The coconut curry was really good. Also the white bean chili. That is something I can see myself making a lot. But again, like I said, more than just specific recipes that I'll make from this, it just kind of like brought quinoa back around. I just hadn't had quinoa in a long time, kind of forgot about it. Adding like some beans onto my toast, things like that. Like, it just kind of reminded me of easy, simple ways that I can add more protein to things, add some nuts on top of something, things like that. I'm kind of weird with food, textures in particular, so I was not a big fan of a lot of the meals from this meal plan, so that's why I don't usually follow meal plans. But I'm glad that I kind of like broke out of my routine for the week to try something different.